The reasons why you are addicted to sadness. Sadness and happiness are choices, that's what many people say. Do you believe in that idea? That we are ultimately in charge of the happiness and sadness in our life? However, throughout history, there have been some of great examples of people who have found happiness in spite of even the most dire of circumstances. Do you know Anne Frank or Malala Yousafzai? They are the example of people who become symbols of hope, optimism, bountiful resilience, and the fighting spirit. In fact, we have all of them inside of us. According to the history, there was Eva Mozes and her twin sister, Miriam, that was subjected to cruel human experimentation at an Auschwitz concentration camp during World War II. They suffered at the hands of Nazis, but then Eva dedicated most of her later life to locate other survivors. She found a humanitarian organization to tell the story of the people and to preach values of peace, forgiveness, and love. With those stories in this life, so why aren't more happy people? Why does it seem so hard for some people just to be happy? Actually, there are more happiness than we think. But in reality, many people fear of happiness but addicted to sadness instead. That's why in this video I'm going to tell you the reason why you might be addicted to sadness. 1. Learned helplessness. According to psychologist Martin Seligman, learned helplessness is defined as a sense of powerlessness, often arising from a traumatic event or persistent failure to succeed, that tends to develop into depressive and self-destructive behavioral patterns and tendencies. It becomes the first concept which lead an individual become so addicted to sadness. It happens because of trauma in the past, either triggered by an event or people around. Or, when you were chronically abused, you might think that it's impossible that your life could be better. Tragedy and suffering have the big role in our life for so long. But when you start thinking that there's nothing you can do to change things to be better, you will be resigned, hopeless, and addicted to sadness. 2. Choice theory. The choice theory is pioneered by a world-renowned psychotherapist, William Glasser. Glasser say that we choose everything we do, including the misery we feel. So according to this theory, happiness and sadness are choice. It's our own responsibility to choose whether you want to be happy or you want to be addicted to sadness. We are responsible for everything we choose to do. Also, we have much more control of our lives more than we realize. If you choose to be sad or feeling guilty, and you decide to punish yourself by being sad, you will be addicted to sadness. 3. Positive reinforcement. Some people are addicted to sadness because they are positively reinforced in them. For example, if you rewarded and enabled for our sadness, it becomes easier for you to become addicted to sadness and stuck in that feeling. You might place yourself as victim and you feel that you are someone needing to be saved from the sadness in your life. Therefore, you will gain attention and care from others or loved ones. If I'm sad, people will pay more attention to me and care about me. That's what makes you addicted to sadness. 4. Low self-esteem. Having low self-esteem becomes another reason which trigger why people are addicted to sadness. Some people rooted deeply into insecurity and lack of self-worth, making they believe that they don't deserve to be happy. However, they also often find it is hard to deal with their own sense of self-pity. Furthermore, they also are often plagued by feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. 5. Unhealed trauma. Some people experience the unhealed trauma. It often triggers them to unconscious feeling for unhappiness if it is left unresolved. People who suffered traumatic experience have difficult time to move on from their past. Moreover, they tend to fall into the trap of denial, self-sabotage, and negativity. These kinds of people also become resistant to positive change because they believe that happiness and safety are something unfamiliar. They also believe that happiness is transient and fleeting. Then they start thinking that why bother trying to chase after it when we will only end up disappointed. 6. Undiagnosed mental health issues. People that experience mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, or something else will be so resistant and addicted to sadness. So when you think that you are so easy to feel sad, maybe it's because you experience the undiagnosed mental health issues as mentioned earlier. People who experience those mental health issues have harder time to regulate their emotions and overcoming their feeling either distress or sadness. If it's remain unsolved, it will be harder for them to overcome their mental illness. Furthermore, they will be more addicted to sadness. That's why it's very important to find help for people who are struggling with mental illness. If you find yourself experiencing signs of depression or anxiety, don't hesitate to ask help from professionals or mental health care. You will be treated with therapy and medication if necessary. By getting help, you can open up about your feelings and your condition to someone you trust, and will help finding solution for you. The sooner you break the habit of being addicted to sadness, the better your life will be. 7. Feeling regret or guilty. You decide to punish yourself because you feel guilty and regret. Therefore, you decide to punish yourself because you think that you don't deserve to be happy. Your feeling guilty traps you into the feeling that the tragedy happens in others' life because of you will make your life sad. You let yourself consumed by guilty, then start believing that everything happens in your life is all sadness. 8. Happiness don't last forever. Yes, it's true that happiness don't last forever, so do with sadness. It makes you fear of happiness because you worry that the happy moments will not last forever, and you are not ready to let it go. That's why you block yourself from being happy in order to avoid disappointment. If you always keep this mindset, you will be more addicted to sadness. 9. Toxic parents. The last but not least, another reason that make you are addicted to sadness is because your toxic parents. Learn about what toxic parents is and what the signs are in our video. Commonly, toxic parents raise their children with excessive discipline and unrealistic expectations. Then they make their children believe that unhappiness is love and success. From this video you learn that probably you are not happy because your mind believed that yourself don't deserve to be happy. Happiness and sadness are your own responsibility, and it's your choice to be happy and sad. So from now on, just control your mind to choose happiness instead of sadness. If you think that it's hard to achieve that, don't be hesitate to call professional because you might suffer mental illness.